from obviously a lot of South Africa, PE, Pretoria, even Panama in the house, Durban, Mozambique. Awesome. Thanks. Welcome, everybody. Barbados, Greece, New York. Wow, UK, Ireland, Uganda. So we've got people from all around the world, UK, Wales, New Zealand, Barbados, Park. Cool. Well, that queue's on going London. So thanks very much. For those who don't know me, my name is Brendan Earp Jones. I'm doing this from Cape Town in South Africa. It is 7 p.m. South African time, which also where it is with Eugene and Michelle, which is 7 p.m. Central European time. Thanks very much for coming on. A lot of people have recently maybe watched that Saturday and maybe they were like, they heard this, they didn't quite understand this. What does this mean? If you're in DAO 1, you're probably already familiar with the DAO 1 products and really excited to hear what's going to be happening with Apertum as we move forward over the next 6 months ahead, and with incredible third-party companies that are now coming into that platform and that are going to bring utility and bring value into that Apertum token. So that's very exciting. That's very cool. But there are an existing community that are from GSB, Gold Standard Bank Group, which is obviously GS Partners, GS Pro form under, and some of you are maybe disconnected and you realize your value is now migrating into the future of the Apertum blockchain-based companies, DAO 1 being one of them, and you heard about a global fund and you heard about GSB as well. And we're going to tie into today's call and hopefully go through all of that so it give you some clarity and understanding. So most people have come in and we are bringing people in all the time. Thanks very much, Michelle, obviously to assist to bring people in as they come. I'm now going to first hand over, because it's given people enough time. It's really 7:04 and everyone's time is very valuable. We want to try and go through this, not a long call. It's not going to be an hour-long call. I'm going to hand over now to a gentleman I know really well, Eugene Bligmo, who helps explain things and helps understands and packages everything so neatly and nicely. And he's got some great presentation to share to help you visualize, because sometimes people need to visually see something which they may have misunderstood and maybe went over their head, how massively important these announcements were, which you heard on Saturday. So I'm going to hand over to Eugene, who's going to then take over now and guide you through just to help package how we've come full circle and how everything ties in. Thanks. Over to you, Eugene.
Awesome. Thanks, Brendan. Welcome everyone. So nice to see you all on the call again. And thank you for attending, because I think clarity is so important at the end of the day, that we understand the evolution, understand the central system into a decentralized system. And I want to go and show this to every single one of you so that when you walk away from this meeting, that you actually understand why certain things are happening, what the process is that we are doing and guiding people to go and do. So I'm going to go straight into it, share my screen with you so that we can actually just have a conversation around this. And I think it's so important for everyone to understand, number one, this is the evolution of a compliant, decentralized economy. You see, we all come from GS Pro partners. I think most of us on this call are from here. If you're not from that era, don't worry. It's also important for you to understand the history where we come from and also why the future in DAO 1 is looking onto the upside. Now, when we look at the system and we all look at GSP, we can see that GSP started off in a centralized system manner. Now, centralized just means that the platform really controls the crypto keys. They've got one central wallet that distributes value to different platforms or portfolios within that system. Now, we all know what happened of the last 2.5 years. We suddenly saw this halt by the regulators with a cease and desist on GS Partners saying, listen, we need to double check and make sure that you guys are doing everything legitimately. You see, it's been a 2+ year legal front application to go and make sure that GS Partners didn't go and sell securities or didn't go and do anything outside of what they were supposed to do. You see, in this period, we also went through this legal system and found a settlement with the regulators so that we can actually go and move forward. But in that process, in that 2-year period, we also found ourselves going, okay, but there's newer technologies happening out there. There's blockchain evolution. And this evolution really is where we find ourselves today, from a central system into a decentralized system. Now, this decentralized system is built on the Apertum blockchain. You see, what they've gone and done is they've given us the ability to go from a central system, which is governed and owned, and the keys held by a central authority, a one-man wallet. Now we go into a decentralized system where ownership becomes the users. You see, all control lies with the user on securing their crypto private keys. You see, now it's a distribution of wallets, no more central wallet. And this is the way that we want to go into it, because DAO1 is a trading autonomous position platform where we can go into the system and have products and services that is completely decentralized, owned by every single person, not by a single authority. You see, what we've heard on the Saturday call was also Global Fund. And it's so important to understand this evolution where we're going, because Global Fund is really an asset management company that works in the fintech space. Now, we all know that we had various portfolios that sat within GSP, aka fintech, renewables, real estate, trading blockfolios, etc. Now it's getting separated into the relevant compliant platform in a decentralized manner so that there's transparency, there's immutability, and there's trust in code, and no longer we have to trust a platform. You see, this is the biggest migration that we find ourselves in. But what I love about decentralization is that you have what we call a DApp. A DApp is a decentralized application. And in order to participate in that application, you can connect a self-custodial wallet, a user-owned wallet, to connect to that to get access to those products and services. And this is really the pivotal point where the future is going to go, is more plug and play, more within compliance when it comes to certain platforms and processes. Now, in order for the migration for GS Pro to move into a decentralized system, we've called what we call a migration, an unpause. And this unpause, what it's going to do is refocus us from a central system into a decentralized system by moving value across. You see, we know that in GSBD Swiss, that was trading products sitting in there. So your trading portfolio will transfer and migrate across into DAO1. We also know that Swiss Value had all the fintech, renewable, and real estate blockfolios and value sitting in there. Now that portfolio will also go and migrate across, and that will migrate into the Global Fund. Now this is all great and good and well that we've done this migration. But here's the one thing that I do want to go and put emphasis on as we do this migration and as we move forward this full circle from central to decentral. Just understand the difference between central and decentral. You see, centralized systems, platforms actually governed and created the security for people. You see, they had the responsibility to make sure that they are secure and cannot be hacked and cannot be breached, etc. Decentralized systems is totally different. Decentralized systems, you are the owner, you are the sovereign user of everything inside of it. You see, no one takes responsibility anymore for security except the owner. Now, how do we protect ourselves also in a decentralized system is by implementing what we call a keystone or a ledger. It's cold storage wallets. And these wallets really protect your MetaMask, your Exova wallet, your Rabby wallet, etc., within a system so that no one can breach you. No one can violate your personal wallet and take everything from it. You see, that security becomes number one. And I hope that when you look at this, we can now understand that, yes, a central system was created, moving into a decentral system. Why? Because of the shift of ownership within a portfolio. You see, now we have 100% control again of our own funds, our own movements, and our own actions. So I'm super excited when it comes to this migration and this move. Yes, it's been a long road. Yes, it's been frustrating. No one is going to go and deny that for any single person on this call. But what the one thing we do know is at least we know everything is moving, everything is migrating. Now we just need to go and protect it. So that's everything that I wanted to share with you this evening. So short, sharp, and to the point. Thanks, Brent.
Cool, guys. So what does that mean? So you saw what Eugene was talking about there. He spoke about people that were with GS Pre, where obviously GS Pro was a centralized platform. Everyone knows what happened there. And what they've moved now is what's very important on the key aspect he said there, as we're moving to those new decentralized platforms, those are compliant and regulated and have been approved by the legal team so that we never have an issue in the future. So people that have assets with GSP and GS Pro, the company has been very careful dealing with the legal team as they have now created those vehicles, those decentralized platforms, for us to migrate our value over. And they started that process a couple of weeks ago with obviously dealing with customers first. So if there are customers on this call, you have already started your live KYC-ness. You'll be obviously in a pending state. Don't worry, that means you basically proved. What it means when you're pending on that dashboard, it means you are pending for the next phase. So we obviously are going to give you some updates now. The next phase is planned to start next week for customers. That's an exciting news for people that are listening on this call. That is next week. I'm going to go through and actually share some screenshots of what that's going to look like, and obviously give you, and I'll obviously maybe also expand and share what Eugene was just talking about in terms of that platform migrating over. So let me just go in here. I'm just going to share my screen. And you could take a look here and you could see on my screen, hopefully, Eugene, tell me if I'm not there, but it looks like it's fine. You'll be given, obviously, two options. And this will, remember, be for customers that have completed their live KYC-ness. You'll be given two options. And remember, the plan is obviously for this to be next week. It could even be sooner, but let's assume it's next week. Wait for updates. We're going to get daily updates over the next few days as this rolls out, but it will be first for customers that have completed their live KYC-ness. You'll get a migrate and maximize option or a refund option. Obviously, the value is going to be in obviously migrating across to those two platforms Eugene spoke about, one being DAO1 trading bots, and that was GSBD Swiss, as you saw in his icon. That is the Olympus certificates. So your Olympus certificates from GSB will be migrating into DAO1 trading bots, and those are really cool and exciting because even from a Photon bot, which is a 450% bot, up to the Helix, which is an 850% performance target, that's going to be a 4.5x or an 8.5x for you. The cool thing is your total value of your Olympuses collected is going to give you one big trading bot on the DAO1 side. You will see this value, or you'll see the total certificates. You'll see how that value is segmented as customers next week as this is given to you, and you'll be able to instantly migrate straight away. So yes, you'll be starting to earn as you click and choose activate. You will migrate straight into the DAO1 trading bot, and you will start obviously earning the next profitable trade, which could be a day or two later. You're going to start obviously earning yourself some great passive income as it starts doing profitable trades. Now, the elemental and success Eugene spoke about those portfolios, fintech, renewables, and real estate. That is going to go into the global fund, which, yes, will also be launching next week. That's exciting news. It's not going to be only in May, or as you heard on the call, end of April or 1st of May. You're going to simultaneously be launching both at the same time, which means all your value, all of your certificate access value will migrate and maximize into those two options next week. Of course, if you decide you don't want to migrate into the global fund and obviously or into a DAO1 trading bot, you could select a refund option. That is going to be the secondary option on the left-hand side as you go there. And obviously that will be entirely your choice. But my recommendation, well, certainly for myself, I'm going to want to rather create myself cash flow, because the cool thing, in case you didn't know, if you had only 2 months or 3 months or 4 months left of rewards left on your certificates, you're going to get basically your rewards reset to zero, which means when it resumes into those products, you've got now up to 10 years rewards on the global fund. Think of getting 52 weeks times 10 now of weekly rewards in the global fund. And obviously in the DAO1 side trading bot, you're going to get from a 450% to 4.5x to an 8.5x. That's really cool. I might have only had 1 or 2 months left of a Hermes Olympus, but now I'm going to get obviously all of it basically reset. I'm going to get now my performance reset to zero, and I'm going to migrate and start earning myself weekly cash flow in the global fund, and obviously weekly cash flow in obviously DAO1 trading bots. So you'll see here your value will be separated in the next screenshot as I'm sharing it now. You'll obviously enter your value into DAO1, and that's going to be your collective Olympus, and obviously as a secondary you'll get your enter into the global fund. If you obviously aren't a customer and you're wondering as a marketer, when are you going to get access? Remember, because if people could potentially refund their certificates, there will be a clawback on commissions if anyone chooses that. And it has to wait for all of these people to choose their options as soon as possible. The good news is corporate have set a timeline on people's options to choose to migrate. And they've decided to give customers 60 days. So customers will have first access. They have only up to 60 days from basically when it goes live next week. They have 60 days to choose. They instantly get access. I don't know why they would delay to start earning themselves some great cash flow and passive income, but they have up to 60 days. That means the likes of Eugene, Michelle, myself, and other leaders on the call, we're probably only going to get access at the worst case scenario, 60 days, unless all our customers, etc., start choosing their options and it starts phasing and rolling up faster. But the worst case scenario for us will be 60 days, but customers will get access next week. So if you've got customers in your team, that'll be cool. You'll start seeing them get this value. And one of the other things Yusuf Hart spoke about was really that GSP is back in full circle, and GSP has been his baby since the beginning. And that's going to be obviously for people that are used to Aratus. That is going to be obviously some exciting gold-backed products. I'm not going to go into the details of that there. There will be a call in the next week or two where they'll be sharing these products where it's got $100 million of back gold. And this will be an entirely separate project for people that want to diversify into the gold space with obviously a new look website and features like that with products in that platform. So hopefully that makes sense really where you're going to be going. So the good news finally is we've waited 2.5 years. You're now literally days away. Your customers are days away. Your customers, if you are leaders and marketers that have been asking you when, it's now coming obviously as planned next week. So that's exciting. And when they migrate over straight away into products. That's the good news that we've clarified. We had a meeting with Yusuf Hart earlier, myself, Eugene, and Michelle and a couple of other leaders. We were speaking and asking questions about that. They're very upbeat and excited. And I'm now going to shift forward to the future now, because as we migrate into DAO1 and the Global Fund, we as maybe network marketers and people in DAO1 on this call are going to start building, and we're going to now make sure that Apertum becomes a top 5 blockchain. Yusuf Hart wants it to be number 1. To dethrone Bitcoin is always difficult, but always aim for number 1, and then you could certainly achieve a top 5. And how that works is they are going to do a fantastic event in Hong Kong in June. And that's going to be really exciting. And there's a great opportunity for people that are building their community and business, the likes of Acosta on this call, Neil Duval, and people, all kinds of people in the community that are doing really well on this platform as builders and helping grow. There's a way that you could attend Hong Kong's event, which is June the 13th, Saturday, June the 13th, where you get all your flights and your accommodation paid for. Yusuf Hart is going to pay for close to 100 people, flights, business class flights, accommodation at the Peninsula Hotel. That is a 5-star hotel in Hong Kong. It's rated actually the top hotel in Asia, the Peninsula Hotel in Hong Kong. And there's going to be a great incentive and for anybody to hit visionary rank. So anybody who hits visionary rank in April or the next month, May, you will get your entire flights and accommodation paid for. If you maybe just miss that in an achiever, you may get part of your trip compensated and be invited. They will assess that as it goes along. That's really, really exciting. Obviously, Michelle and Eugene and I will be there in Hong Kong. Hopefully, we will get probably 20 or 30 or 40 of you on this call that are going to decide to now take action, because the time of waiting is over. We are now migrating. People that are in GSP are migrating their values and customers literally next week. And we are now building forward into DAO1 to make Apertum as they've now hit towards obviously a $10, $20, $30, $40, $80 coin. If it even hits $8 a coin, Michelle, Eugene, and I will easily have 100,000 Apertum by the next 6 months. $8 a coin is $800,000 in value. and we've got 100,000 of per term, then we are mining. Lots of you on this call can have 50 to 100,000 of per term, not just us, probably at least 50 of you on this call. And imagine when it gets to $80 a coin, but forget about that. Even at $8 a coin, that's realistic because we are migrating value from GSP into DAO1. And as those trade bots and that euro value, tens of millions of dollars migrate into DAO1 and into the global fund, it's going to purchase a per term. And that starts next week from customers, and it will roll out over the next 60 days for people up to obviously the biggest builders and marketers that will get access right at the end. So we are now going to be doing a call. I do a live presentation on Thursday. It starts 6 p.m. this Thursday on DAO1. For you to hit that rank, for you to be invited and have all your flights and hotels and expenses paid for, to get to Hong Kong, you just have to hit visionary rank. That's not difficult. We were doing that in our sleep last year as a South African community. The German and the international teams are blowing it away. We can absolutely achieve that. And we are going to then record that Thursday call, and we're going to now update it to Learn Pro. For people that are in Learn Pro, you're going to get some new videos in Learn Pro for you to send. And of course, we're going to hit the ground running from Monday next week after Eugene and Michelle and I will strategize as we start doing some more live calls, and you'll have a recording on YouTube. If you don't have Learn Pro, you'll be able to share the YouTube DAO1 recording and obviously hop onto the next week Thursday call, which will always be live if people want to have a Q&A, but we'll have a recording on YouTube and on Learn Pro for us. Let's take advantage now with DAO1. Let's build it up. We could see the global funders there for us as affiliates to market that product as it launches. GSP will be there from a gold product, and DAO1 will be there from a smart trading bot and obviously a mining bot specific product. We're really excited about the future. We're excited to see that things have finally come to a conclusion and that things are moving ahead. And Joseph Hart and the corporate team stuck to the cause. They didn't liquidate the company. They spent $1 million a month for 40 months on legal fees to protect our assets as we're migrating over to some life-changing opportunity, resume rewards. It's fantastic. I get 10x in my global fund. It's 1,000%. Global fund is a 10x, and obviously your DAO1 trading bots anywhere from a 450% to an 850%. That's better than I ever had with my Hermes certificates. None of my Hermes was giving me more than a 2 or 3x. I'm now going to get at least a 4.5x on my Olympus values, up to an 8, probably an 8.5x, because I'm going to collate all my value together. And for those who don't know, there's exciting updates in DAO1. There's going to be a smart contract update where they are going to join all of your mining bots together. Wait for that smart contract update, and there you'll be able to only have to claim from one mining bot instead of having to go through and claim through 30 mining bots. They'll collect all your value together. It won't stop the transactions. It will still automate all those transactions in a queue, but it'll be simplified for you to though, and obviously claim. So there's all kinds of exciting announcements, third-party companies, ways for you to even obviously mine Bitcoin on the Pertum blockchain, mine it through Wrap Bitcoin with that third-party company you heard about on Saturday. And all of these are tying in on the Pertum blockchain, including GSP's new gold product on the Pertum blockchain, the global fund on the Pertum blockchain. And this is going to create transactions and it's going to create value. And for those people that are builders here, let's get to Hong Kong. Let's take that activity. Let's invite as many people as possible for Thursday. Everything has come full circle. There's no excuses now in terms of what we're doing and where we are heading as a community. I'm very excited. I'm thankful for Eugene to going through to showing that full picture. I know I've just seen Michelle sit here. And before I close off, I'm maybe just going to ask Michelle, do you have anything you want to say before we close off this call? And let me know what your thoughts are and what you feel about where you're heading over the next few months with DAO1.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, depending upon where you are in the world, obviously. Guys, can you feel the energy? Can you feel the energy shift? We are moving. We're not denying. The last 2 years have been tough. But how privileged are we to have had the best backing us? To be looking after our community, making sure we're moving and we're moving forward in a better position than we probably ever were in to begin with. So hold on tight, follow the steps. It doesn't help you guys argue with us or get frustrated and agitated. We're feeling it as well. But just follow the steps. If you see the liveness is available, Get going with it. Take action. Help your team members get the action, because the quicker we move through the steps, the better. So if we all work together, we get to our end destination sooner. We're not far from it. Hong Kong is not far away. And I have no freaking doubt that it's just going to get better and better and better. So that's it from my side, guys.
Thanks, Mish. And I just want to add there, if you want to be coming to Hong Kong, we've got a Hong Kong WhatsApp group. Reach out to your leaders, Michelle and Eugene's team or my team, etc., whoever the leaders are, and you can get added to that Hong Kong group. People that were in the Learn Pro, the old A-team group, that's going to be a little bit more quieter now. We're not going to delete those groups. We're going to create a Hong Kong group, which we've started already. If you want to achieve that visionary rank and to come and attend, have all your expenses and flights and hotels paid for, be there. Reach out to us and get added to that, and we can start giving you some strategies and steps to start inviting people and to get onto Thursday's live call. People maybe privately messaging me or writing the chat saying, they're a customer, they haven't got it. Don't worry, guys, no customers will be left out. They have a set amount of customers they've started with, and they will then start rolling out, obviously, to the rest of the customers. It won't go to Brendan and Eugene before the customers are done. So if you haven't got it yet, just start with the next week's process. You'll get it in the next week or two from there. They're doing all the customers in a phased rollout. Remember, we can't have all the customers on day one all migrating over, and Pertum goes to $12 and then dumps to 60 cents. So they have to phase roll out that price because it is a marketable coin, an exchangeable coin on 8 live exchanges. The exchanges and the traders of the community are going to be looking there, watching a Pertum increase in value, and they're going to be confused and they're not sure what's going on. So they're carefully going to strategize as they activate trading bots and move marketing value and move customers over. So it's a clever step that has to be done as they bring that value over. Of course, if you're saying, can we terminate a bot? Yes, you could terminate your trade bot whenever you want. You could try it for 3 months. That's why I recommend migrate and maximize over anyway, because if you suddenly need your load value that you get from the trade bot, you can always get it back. Don't take the refund and actually get penalized on your euro value. So hopefully that makes sense. And if you've got customers that haven't done the live KYC, please do so. The last stat we had was 32%. 32% of customers have done their live KYC. That's 1 in 3. 2/3 haven't even looked at their emails yet. They're losing out, and they're going to have 60 days. So please reach out to them. Obviously, that's going to obviously affect the timeline it might get to you, especially if you've only got 2 or 3 customers in your downline and you're wanting to get access to your live KYC, so you can get access to your options. Thanks very much. Eugene and Michelle and I are really amped. I've answered most of the questions there that I could see. And let's get going. Remember, guys, we are moving euro value. People are asking me here about vouchers, etc. Vouchers, nothing applies there. Please understand, we've gone through this on calls. Vouchers don't apply. We're using euro value, but you're moving into a product which is going to have a higher up end anyway, a 4.5x to an 8.5x on DAO 1 to a 10x on the global fund. They're moving to a compliant, regulated product, the euro value. That's the only way they could do it. So no one loses any money. They get all their money moved over and resume rewards. So the cash flow is king, and cash flow passive income is key. So if you have $100,000 that you're moving over, and you were probably earning, say, $2,000 a week in passive income, you will probably resume at $2,000 a week, depending on what the trade volume, and that's even at a low trade volume at 2% a week. If the trades go up to 3, 4, 5% a week on DAO 1 because it's variable, as the Pertum increases, you're going to earn even more than you used to earn. So get excited. Remember, you're now going to start getting your cash flow every single week, and you don't only have 8 weeks of cash flow. You're going to now have months and months and months and months ahead, because everything is resetting back to zero and all your rewards are resuming from a cash flow perspective. That's how they're doing it, from a euro value migrating over. Thanks very much for coming on. Hopefully that makes sense. We'll try to do another call really from a DAO 1 perspective as we hear some news next week, but corporate will likely also do calls as they share products with GSP and share how the global fund products are going to work as they can share and as they announce in the upcoming weeks. But stay tuned for next week, hopefully, and we'll see some customers starting to migrate their value over, and we'll be able to then show some of those examples and show some videos and show some excitement really from people getting their euro value and their products moving over so they could start earning that cash flow. Thanks very much, everybody.